Hello, people. Once again, I am back on another just journey. Like, just through my mind, I'm just thinking of just the seas, and I'm sailing right through them, and there's nothing. There's nothing there, but I keep going. I keep going really far. Really fucking far. So, here's the dealio, y'all. Why? Why am I going this far? Um, I don't know. Anyway, you may notice that the microphone quality is a bit different. And the main reason why that is because my computer microphone is screwing itself. So I am kind of stuck, uh, and I'm using my phone as a microphone. So we kind of went back a few steps. We went back a few eras, but it's okay. At least we're not back to that 2020 era. If you remember, if anyone was there during that 2020 era, oh my God, you guys had to be there. You guys had to witness the absolutely horrendous microphone quality that was my old era. My first era, no, that was my second era. My first era was no commentary, and then the second era was the Game Bar microphone. If y'all ever use Game Bar, then y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, this thing was so horrendous, and you could have like an amazing microphone too, and the Game Bar shit would just completely screw you over, and you just end up sounding like I'm laughing just thinking about it because I could be using it right now. I could be using Game Bar. Could be using Game Bar, but I'm not because I know that Game Bar sucks ass, and I have no idea if they updated it or anything like that. But anyways, it would sound like you're in the apocalypse or like listening to some old, like I don't even know what the fuck to call it. Um, just say you sounded like the apocalypse. Let's just say that. So I'm kind of on there, and I kind of want to talk about nothing. I want to talk about being just completely lost. You know, and you kind of think about this. There's a lot of people that are lost in the world today. You know, there's a lot of people that are lost. You may notice that so many people are addicted to things. They're addicted to things like caffeine, drugs, porn, whatever it is. I have my addictions. I'm not going to share them with you in this video, but I do have my addictions, and I'm sure I would be lying to you. I would be lying to you if I said that I was trying to quit them. I am not trying to quit them, which is very silly of me. But you guys can. You guys can quit those addictions. You guys know that, right? There's people out there to help you with that kind of stuff. There are just people out there to talk to. I know a lot of people like to bring people down. I know a lot of people like to do that. But listen to me right now. I can tell you this. I just don't think you understand really where you're going because you're not focused. You're just not focused enough. You're not locked in. Some of us are just kind of feeling lonely. You know, I mean, that's me kind of at the moment. Feeling very lonely. That's kind of where I'm at. And if I'm feeling lonely and you guys aren't feeling lonely, and you guys are probably just watching this, you know, expecting some sort of like, oh, he's going to talk about this, which is how to not be lonely. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how lonely I am. I'm not going to talk about that, actually. I'm going to talk about just in general. You know, there's a lot of things that have been going on in my life, and there's a lot of things I've been doing to myself, and it's honestly, it's very bad. It's a very bad thing that happens. And there's a lot of bad things that happen in the world, a lot of bad things, and a lot of bad things happen to good people. And good people don't talk about it. A lot of good people don't even talk about it. They hide it because they, I mean, you know, they compare themselves to others, you know, and it's kind of sad to be honest with you because I do the same thing. I compare myself to other people. I compare myself to the world, and I see all these people. I think everyone nowadays on the internet is doing the same fucking thing. Like, every single person is doing the same exact thing as another person is. And the reason why they are getting so popular is because it's the popular thing. I get that. But, you know, I feel extremely different. I feel different. I go on the internet, right? I go in real life. I could be in real life. I could be in school. I could be in really anywhere. And I could be just completely out of the blue when it comes to just feeling, you know, in the group. There's so many different groups of people, and I'm not in a group. I feel lost. I feel like there's like a bunch of people, like imagine like a bunch of people in different cities and shit. Like imagine this city over here, and then there's a city right here, and then there's a city over here, and then I'm just kind of, in the middle of the desert. It's kind of where I am at the moment, um, and I've been heard about this identity kind of stuff. There's a lot of talk about identity nowadays, and even that hasn't really flattered me all that much. So I think honestly, with the real world as it is now, I think a lot of people are being taking advantage of the fact that people are feeling like this, because it's easy to make money off of that. Sell you a fake, I don't even know, a fake promise. There's a lot of bad things about that, in my opinion. Just kind of people who are really just who really have made it. People who have made it. People who have made it, and they take advantage of people who have not made it. And they take advantage of this thing. It's like, you're lonely because of this, because you're not listening to me. I'm the answer. Let me tell you guys something. I think the answer is in our hearts. I think the answer is in yourself. I think you need to search yourself. I'm not going to ask you guys for any memberships. I'm not going to ask you guys for any money or, like, just in general any views. I'm just here to tell you guys, you need to look deeper in yourself. This is something that is a problem within modern societies, that we look up to a lot of people, and these parasocial relationships are really hurting us, because we look at some people like they're Jesus or something, and it hurts us a lot. I mean, for example, like me, I've done this before, and I've compared myself to other people. It has completely brought down my mental health. It's got me thinking of stuff that I shouldn't even be thinking of, you know, ways I shouldn't have been thinking in, and just mindsets that just completely bring you down. So I got some advice for all of you out there. Be yourself. Go out there. Change the world. You don't even have to change the world. If you want to just be yourself, I don't really know how to do that, but my advice is to figure that out, because it just happens. Stuff happens. Life goes on, and you'll eventually find some sort of purpose. And once you find that purpose, I think you're kind of setting yourself up for success. And I don't care what anyone says. Like, a lot of people out there, they might have everything in the world. They might have all the successful business and stuff, but I don't view success as having a lot of money, having a lot of connections, and having nothing, no true pure soul or anything. They don't have none of that crap, because they're so egotistical and insecure that they're like, oh, this is what I have. I have money, I have cars, I have women and stuff like that. Meanwhile, me, I got a guitar, I got some paper, I got a computer, I got a YouTube channel. There's a lot of things you got to take into consideration here. Honestly, I could feel the same exact way as someone who has like $1 billion. They feel empty, and they kind of channel that differently. They channel that by bringing others down. I have this, I have that, you have nothing, because we all start with nothing. Most of us do. The people who usually start with something are usually raised as like brats, stuff like that. Just spoiled people, and people with big old ego. But people, I respect this. I respect people who start with absolutely nothing and work their way up. I absolutely respect that. I think that's something that a lot of people need to figure out, is that it goes along. I mean, some people think you have to be born with like when it comes to music, for example, some people think some people are musically gifted. I don't think that's true at all, actually. I just think that it takes longer for people to figure out music than other people. So, yeah, artistically gifted. My family did not grow up in an artistically gifted household. My grandpa joined the Navy out of high school. My mom grew up pretty poor throughout her life, so there's that. So we weren't really the artistic kind of type. You know what I'm saying? And I happen to be the one guy who just happens to speak his mind. Just draws a lot, writes a lot, all that kind of stuff. I have a whole notebook of just complete thoughts and stuff, and if there's one thing that really keeps me down, it's that I keep comparing myself to other people, especially this one person, but we're going to talk about that later. Um, and I'll kind of get into that later on, maybe, I don't know. But um, my advice would just be to just try and push on. I mean, I'm currently shaking right now because I actually, there's moments in my days now, I noticed this, my mental health has gotten significantly worse. Um, and I shake a lot. And it happens just to be, like, I shake, I get kind of nervous and anxious, and, I stutter a lot. That's already natural, I already stutter a lot, but, sometimes it's like, the thoughts get to your head, man, it's really bad. So, my advice would just be persist, keep going forward, because some people are growing, and this is the thing, people. Rich people, the billionaires, they grew up in a rich house. They grew up with all this kind of stuff. They didn't need to worry about anything. They didn't need to worry about none of this crap, They didn't need to worry about paying rent. Me and my family, we've been all over Houston and Dallas. We were going from homeless shelter to homeless shelter. We went from that to relatives' houses. We went from that to hotels. We went from hotel to hotel. You know, it's like, you know, rich people, they don't get that life experience. You know what they get? They get money, girls, cars. They get all this crap. They get the good life. They were sheltered when they were kids, actually. They really are the sheltered ones. And all these people out there, maybe like Drake or something like that, they all act like they're tough. And they act like they're these just these real people with real personalities. And they're not. When I see a rich person, I want to see a rich person that has personality to them. A rich person who has personality and has gone through the struggle of getting rich, I respect those people. I respect those people a lot, actually. But if there's people out there who were born that way, and then there's also people that cheat their way to the top because all they think about is money and the fame. But I can go a long way without money, I think. I'm 17. I mean, I I don't really have any desire for money. I realize that. I don't really have a desire for money. I don't have a desire for, a good lifestyle. I don't have none of that. I have no desire for that. My desire really is just to wake up and be able to do absolutely nothing except for think. And I think a lot. I want to be able to get up one day. No worries at all. Actually, that's a lie. Scratch that. I do want worries. I do want to worry about things. I like worrying about things. It makes me think more about them. So there's that. Just think, man. Just keep thinking about the world, and then write it down. Write down a lot of that, because I also do that. I write down what I think of the world and shit. And I write down a lot about that. Matter of fact, I'm planning on doing that as soon as I stop this recording. Just kind of start writing and shit. So, people, don't let other people take you down, because, rich people. If you see a rich person and you act like, man, I wish I was that guy. Don't listen to those. Don't listen to those thoughts, because that rich guy might have loneliness in his heart, and he might just be projecting that to other people, just making fun of them, and just might be an evil guy in general who just takes advantage of people, or was just born in a situation where he conveniently could become rich. Me, I have no connections, nothing like that. I always wanted to start a band, but I have no connections. If that makes you any happier, I guess, then there's that. No connections, nothing like that. And there's people out there who have had zero connections, and it's not based off of luck, people. I'm telling you this. It is based off of pure hard work. And with the internet, you can do even more with the internet. You can do so much more with the internet. You can shove things in people's faces like no other place. Like Instagram. You know how crazy easy it is to get big on Instagram? It's actually sickening. If you know the algorithm and if you know how it works, it is sickening how big you can get. So, look into that, people. Look into how you can. But at the same time, man, just don't lose yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't lose yourself in the process, because that's the biggest mistake people make. Just don't lose yourself, because if you do, then I'm not gonna be there to pick you up. Your family will probably be like, "I'm sorry," you know, and they'll help you the best they can. But it's really up to you, really, to lift yourself up. If you fail, if you get knocked back down, try again. Try it again. That's the way life works, people. Is like, I think a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people live their life, they just kind of like sit around and do nothing. And people don't realize this, because they sit around doing nothing, and then whenever people try to make something impactful, make a difference, they get scared, because they're like, oh no. Or either that, or like they'll just, you know, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but like, you know, people, they just like get terrified of new things. They get tired of just changing. And that's the thing about society now, is that there's so many barriers, but we can break those barriers, people. We can absolutely do that. So if you were sitting around saying like, oh, it's very rare to get this thing done, you know, it's very rare to do this, it's based off of luck or whatever like that. No, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to lock in, people. We need to lock in. This is the billionaires in office right now in the United States, those fucking corporate pedophiles. Like, these people in office, they won't stop us. They will not stop us whatsoever. We're gonna get big, we're gonna get rich, and we're gonna give all that money to everyone else. We're gonna stop what these boomers have created with this whole, you know, negative talk and stuff. And, you know, we're gonna just completely reverse that cycle. We're gonna take all their money. We're gonna take all their money, and then we're gonna give it out to everyone. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go and take, well, once you know, Donald Trump and all those people, you know, once they die, all this stuff, we're gonna go in and take all their money, and then, you know, we're not gonna steal it. Obviously, we can't just steal it, you know, because that would be our bad, you know. But if we become billionaires ourselves, it's not just gonna happen, you know, overnight. It's gonna take years, you know. So if you build yourself up, and if you do that, you build yourself up, and you make all this money, and if you actually do something with that, and you actually make a difference instead of just hogging it for yourself so you can make yourself feel better in a moment, I have respect for you. Thank you.